Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to another edition of KTN Business Today. My name is Abi Agina, coming to you live from the capital in Nairobi. We have a lot lined up for you in the world of business for the next 1 hour. We'll be crossing over live to Barclays Bank, where our reporter Julia Wino will be having an exclusive interview with the Barclays Group CEO for East Africa, and that is Jeremy Awori. And over and above that, we'll be speaking to Ken Gishinga, a resident analyst, just taking stock really of some of the key stories that have been making headlines across the country. Of course, not forgetting the recent visit by Swiss president who was in the country in relation to asset recovery. We have all that covered up for you here in the next 1 hour. So today on the show, we're asking you this unanswerable question. What are your expectations of the upcoming visit by former US President Barack Obama? Please feel free to engage with us on social media. You can tweet me at Agina Abi. You can also tweet us at KTN News. Remember to use the hashtag KTN Business. Well, the former US President is expected in the country on Sunday, and we have our teams down in Kogelo, where former President Barack Obama will be visiting his ancestral home, and we shall be definitely covering that for you here on the show. Well, let's now take a look at the latest from the money markets in relation to how the Kenyan shilling has been performing against the US dollar in relation to trade. Of course, also taking stock of the sterling pound and the euro. Well, today in trading, we're seeing the dollar is trading at 100.69 buying, selling at 100.89. The sterling pound is trading at 133.15 buying, selling at 133.45. And the euro is trading at 117 shillings and 57 cents buying, selling at 117 shillings and 82 cents. Well, let's take a look at the NSE performance now, just to have a sense of how the markets closed as of last evening, where we've seen the NSE 20 share index. It has been really on the lower end because of the various issues happening in the stock markets. Well, let's now take the next slide, where we shall be able to see the NSE performance, where turnover is standing at 525 million, shares traded closed off at 17.2 million, and the NSE 20 share index was at 3,308.67 points, and the bonds traded was just slightly below 2 billion at 1.85 billion. Well, the most active counters we have Safaricom. It's moved about 4.6 million shares. Athi River Cement moving 2.05 million shares. Cooperative Bank moving 744,600. Mumias Sugar moving 543,800. Well, let's take a look at the winning counters as of this hour in our next slide, where we'll be able to take a sense of which stocks have dominated trading today. We have British America Tobacco, BAT. The stock is up 10%. Athi River Cement also doing well. The stock is up 9.88%. Beacon East Africa up 8.7%. Uchumi Supermarkets also on a sort of bounce back, really. It's up by 8%. Well, let's close off with the closing counters as of this hour, where we shall also be keen to see whether we'll be having some stocks from the banking sector. Well, we have National Bank. The stock is down 9.3%. BOC Gas is down 9.2%. Sanlam Kenya down 5.94%. Closing off, we have Standard Group down 5.45%. Well, that's a quick look at how the markets have been performing on this Friday as we head off for the weekend. Well, in relation to our Twitter poll question, we had some input really from the US ambassador to Kenya, with a former US President Barack Obama expected in the country. Kenya is angling for a slice of the cake to grow her trade volumes with the United States. In line with this, US Ambassador to Kenya, Robert Gov't, has exuded confidence over renewed trade ties between the two countries. Gov't spoke to KTN Business in an exclusive interview where he talked about the aviation industry is up for great days ahead, as well as the tourism sector. He is part of that interview. Looking at the balance of trade right now, it's of course in favor of the United States. What are we doing to bridge this further?
So last year we had about $1 billion US dollars worth of trade between Kenya and the United States, just in the merchandise area. That doesn't count the services, so 100 billion Kenya shillings. And Kenya does have the benefit of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. And you are exporting textiles and apparel to the United States and a number of other things. And I think the goal for Kenya really needs to be to use this extraordinary benefit, the possibility of tariff-free exports to the United States. We have worked through our trade hub here to help Kenya develop a strategy to deal with that and to increase its exports to the United States under AGOA, and I'm confident that that can happen. I look forward to seeing it.
And of course, finally, the talk of town is the direct flights that we expect in October. And everyone seems to be pointing to the fact that this is going to be a major lifeline in terms of boosting trade and, of course, tourism. From where you sit, what are your expectations really in terms of the tourism front?
So direct flights have been a big goal for both the United States and Kenya for a number of years. And we've done a lot of work together to strengthen security out at JKIA and to put in place the processes and procedures and everything that needs to be there to ensure that everybody that gets on a flight is going to be safe. And this benefits not just the people going to, say, New York, but it frankly benefits all travelers coming and going from Kenya. And big progress has been made, and I welcome that. So, there is still one step that has to be taken, but I am looking forward to seeing that direct flight, with any luck at all, in October. And I do think it will boost tourism. The United States is a big source of tourists for Kenya, and I'm sure we'll see even more with direct flights.
Well, indeed, like I mentioned, we'll be definitely covering that homecoming for Obama. And moving on, trade unions and civil society organizations are asking the government to review all existing statutory tax incentives that are not beneficial to Kenya. This serves as a means of fighting illicit financial flows that has been rampant in the Kenyan market.
Kenya has been termed as the home of illicit financial activities like tax evasion and money laundering. Local firms in the region have fallen victims in fraudulent schemes in avoiding tax evasion. The country's revenue collection targets have not been met before as a result of this.
If, for example, a policy that has been put in place, this is EPZ 20 years, 2 decades and a half, if it has not worked, it's only logical, it's only reasonable that we review to the extent that it's not working. That is all what we have said.
Inasmuch as a number of measures are put in place in fighting illicit financial flows, it is still a journey. The trade unions and civil society organizations have suggested areas that need key attention. Tax treaties and incentives, automatic exchange and information, Kenya Revenue Authority capacity, beneficial ownership are all criticized for its several loopholes.
I believe that the proposed finance bill of 2018, once finalized and implemented, will help to reduce the loopholes used for tax avoidance and tax evasion. In addition, the meeting commends the government for the steps taken in the recovery of illegally acquired assets.
Kenya has been losing an average of 40 billion shillings every year through illicit financial flows since 2011 as both government, local firms and multinationals engage in fraudulent schemes to avoid tax payments. Julie Owino, KTN News.
And in a bid to boost revenues generated by counties, Brand Kenya Board has developed a county branding index for counties that seek to determine the strength of the counties to position themselves as hubs for investment, trade and tourism. Once the county branding index is adopted by all the 47 counties and branding mainstreamed in the core budget for the counties, the results will include new markets, better and more developed cities and towns, improved service delivery, more trade and investment potential, as well as improved living conditions for citizens. According to the acting CEO at Brand Kenya, Floyce Mukabana, the county branding index will create an identity for counties by developing a brand. This will see counties create a competitive identity to attract tourism and investments.
Other than just the CECs for tourism, which seems to be getting a lot of the attention, we also have trade and investment CECs, and we'll be looking towards you to assist us to have your members and industries in your counties adopt the mark of identity, and we shall be engaging you in that program further. And that is the same thing Make It Kenya campaign, which is a global campaign. And if you're able to position yourselves as counties favorably, it will then be easier for us to elevate your status into the global campaign and Make It Kenya, showing your county as a county that globally that is good for investment and for trade and as well as tourism.
We have increased our investments in our counties and to ensure that the people in every county are able to bring out the best of their businesses, of their future, and have the vision of making Kenya a great place. To create an effective brand and to compete globally, Kenya needs to come together as one great nation, one people, to ensure that our investment opportunities are attractive and also that we're able to share this with the rest of the world to bring more investments in every county. And to be able to have such findings what Brand Kenya Board today is sharing, we will be able to ensure that investments and developments happen in all your counties.
Indeed, some good news there for counties. And members of Kericho County Assembly, led by the Speaker of the county, Dominic Rono, marched to Kenya Tea Packers Ketepa headquarters to petition the company to suspend the looming massive staff layoff. The company recently wrote to the area labor office over the intended action aimed at cutting the company's costs. Ketepa top management are scheduled to meet Kenya Agricultural and Plantation Workers Union under the leadership of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atuoli, from tomorrow. According to Ketepa, the targeted staff are redundant, but an agreement has been reached to temporarily halt the process as a lasting solution is sought.
Going forward, we would want this process to be a consultative process. Before anyone is laid off, we would want the leadership of Kericho to be consulted so that we can have a very consultative meeting and we can agree on a mutually agreeable solution.
We want all the multinationals, if their licenses say that they sell export, they stick to that. So we are not going to mince our words there.
Still staying with trade matters, the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, has won a court case barring the Cabinet Secretary for Labour, Ukuru Yatani, from denying the NSSF board from conducting any meetings. The High Court, through Court Order 12A, Court has certified the application as urgent. The new development hands the National Social Security Fund latitude to continue running internal board meetings in the interim. The government intends to use information, communication and technology as an enabler to the Big Four agenda. Speaking during a site visit of the Konza Techno City, which also involved members of the Senate Committee on ICT, led by the chairman Gideon Moi, ICT CS Joe Musheru says that the Konza Techno City would spur both the housing and manufacturing sectors, which are part of the government's Big Four agenda. Development in the sector had taken place since the last policy was formulated, but there is need to capture the changes, especially in the mobile phone telephony services in the new law.
ICT committee from Senate, the ICT committee from the Council of Governors and the Ministry of ICT decided that we're going to come and have a discussion on ICT and Big Four here at Konza. First, to see what is the progress, where has all the funding that we've been getting from the National Assembly, where is it going, how is it being used?
And most importantly for us is the jobs which will be created. We've heard that we'll be creating up to 1 million jobs a year for the next 5 years. So that is music to our ears, that is what we want to support, and that's what we want to encourage.
Well, we now want to bring in our resident analyst, and that is Ken Gishinga, just to take stock of some of the top stories across the business landscape throughout the week.